Hi Mum! You do everything for everyone else. Let me help you make your life easier. Quick, short information to make you empowered and remind you why you are so important. Because if you don't know what's on the menu, how can you choose what's right for you? Hi, I'm Alina, Director of my private practice Supportive Therapy, an everyday Aussie mum trying not to lose my biscuits at my kids. As a mental health professional, I'm here to share my secrets so no other mother feels alone or powerless. Knowledge is power, and I want you to be powerful. Think of it like I'm your mindset coach through all of this. Everything is backed by science and psychology. I believe in you, and I want you to be the best version of yourself. To be happy and to feel in control, you need to be mentally strong. Hello mums, my name is Alina Bishop and this is Mentally Strong Mums. So today I just want to quickly touch on growth mindset. So some people have heard of this, some people haven't. It's something really good that we should be practicing all the time. And as everything in our life, anything that you're good at, you practice. And if you don't practice or you lose the skill, then you won't have it anymore. And so a part of all of this to try and be mentally strong is to understanding the ways that I need to be mentally strong, the discipline I need to have for myself to do the right thing, and to have really good mental health. And all of these things, especially after the last episode with broken expectations, resentment and gratitude, this is another really good little tool that you can use in your little toolbox to be able to grow and move forward. And it's funny, with a lot of my clients, we always talk about either their own parenting, if they have children or not, and how a lot of the times they go into their toolbox of parenting tricks and tools and stuff. But essentially their toolbox isn't their own toolbox, it's their parents' toolbox. So we almost have like a default where our parenting, because sometimes if we don't know what to do, we go back to what we know is familiar for us. And some of the things that we know are familiar is the way that we were raised, because obviously it was over decades generally by our parents. And if I'm realizing that the things that are in my toolbox are actually my parents' toolbox, this is obsolete, we don't need it anymore. I want to keep the things that I want to keep, but I actually want to grow and evolve and be an authentic parent the way that I want to. And so all of this is about being an authentic version of yourself, keeping things that work for you and leaving things that don't serve you anymore. And a part of this moving forward is learning and practicing how to have a growth mindset. And obviously it doesn't happen every day. A growth mindset is essentially understanding to be open and flexible and seeing things from a new perspective, to be able to grow and evolve within yourself, as opposed to being fixed and stagnant, having old beliefs that probably don't serve you anymore, or even if the beliefs you have aren't even your own beliefs, if you're essentially repeating like a parrot someone else's beliefs because you haven't been able to either have the self-worth or self-esteem, the self-confidence to come up with your own. And so growth mindset is really important because we don't want a fixed mindset. The most important thing for me, understanding, I always do that with my bloody Aussie accent. The most important thing for me is understanding with a growth mindset is to be flexible. And they say good mental health is to be flexible mindset. Mental health that is not so good is quite fixed and staunch and unable to put yourself in other people's position or be empathetic. It's quite staunch, okay? So having a growth mindset is crucial, especially for women as mums, because we want to be able to give our kids the right toolbox for what they need to live. And if you can understand simply, if you have a growth mindset which is flexible, it's good mental health. If you have a fixed mindset, which is quite rigid, black and white, it can be sometimes represent negative mental health. And that's where all the barriers are to be able to come in and connect and grow and evolve and change. I watch The Family Guy. I think it's absolutely hilarious. And I always do things to make myself laugh on a daily basis because, it's the only way to be. That was also a bit of a joke. And I always remember they're like, the donkey, and they're so staunch and fixed and stubborn in their ways. And then you can even say, well, the sky is actually blue today. And they'll go, well, no, it's green, like a donkey. That's staunch. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. It doesn't matter what you say. I'm right and you're always wrong. I know everyone knows one of those people, okay? That's also like, I'm not like criticizing those or downplaying these people who sometimes are quite stubborn like a donkey. That's generally, if you have a really fixed mindset, it's a trauma response because of something. Sometimes a really logical explanation, if you do have a trauma response like that, would be that when I was younger, I was never able to be heard, or I was gaslighted my whole life and my whole existence. So as an adult, I need to make sure that my voice is always heard and I will never feel dismissed ever again. So this is your unconscious talking, you're a bit of a trauma. So those people that are that donkey, that are that staunch, this is what I say and this is how I go. And no, it's green. No, but the sky's blue. No, because it's green. But it's blue. It might be turquoise. No, green. It's that staunch, black and white, fixed, can't change it, doesn't matter what you say, I will fight this to the death, okay? That's a trauma response, and understanding why that's there and where that comes from is really huge, okay? So that might even be another one for another day, because that's a whole, opening that little can of worms. This is why it's important to have a growth mindset. So we're all wrong at some point in our life. Okay, you can't ever expect to go through life being right the whole time and not ever going through an argument. That's impossible, okay? And it's inevitable that we're going to be wrong and we're going to be knocked down a peg a lot of the time, which I get knocked down a peg all the time, and I don't mind it, because it's about growing and challenging ourselves, and sometimes things that we believe aren't actually our beliefs, they're from other people's beliefs. So if we can have a growth mindset, it's crucial for ourselves to grow, and it can positively impact all different aspects of our lives, such as career, romantic relationships, family relationships, as well as personal growth. So growth mindset is huge, and it's about just pausing in a moment on your own and figuring out what's going on, how can I adapt this growth mindset, okay? Understanding women who are really quite successful, really quite confident within themselves, are able to be open and receptive to other people's perspectives, opinions, and what's going on for the other person, as opposed to being that donkey, no. So if you're able to kind of understand how a growth mindset is practiced, it's the same as learning and practicing learned optimism. Learned optimism is also, it's not toxic positivity. It's learn optimism, trying to see the good in situations, trying to see how you fit in different situations, to be grateful or to make the most of it, or to learn to be resilient, okay? So then understanding some really common ways about growth mindset is about reflection, because sometimes in the moment we don't know we're doing things, or we're too far down the rabbit hole, or we get really defensive. If you can then go back and reflect upon what's happened, or journaling, mindfulness, understanding why I am the way that I am, what is in my toolbox, is it my toolbox or is it my parents' toolbox? When I do get really defensive and I will argue to the death just because I can't ever be seen wrong, or I can't ever be seen in a negative light, that's also something that we need to investigate as to the roots of where that originated from, okay? So another couple of different strategies you could use to practice having a growth mindset is reframing negative thoughts. So all of us have a, RuPaul calls it an internal saboteur. There's another man, I can't pronounce his name, Subi? Anyways, he's an amazing entrepreneur, and he is on, what is that show called? Shark Tank, and the amount of adversities he's gone through to get where he has. And he says, from his perspective, that little inner saboteur, he calls it a little BITCH. I don't know if you got kids in the car. Maybe I should have given you a warning about that beforehand. But that's essentially what that is that little person on your shoulder that talks smack about you, that negative thoughts, I'm not good enough, I'm not competent, it's my fault, I'm never going to amount to anything anyways, okay? If you can reframe them in a positive light, you know what? I am trying my best. I'm doing the best that I can. It's not my fault. I didn't do it on purpose. I do belong. I am connected. I might not have done very well today, but at least I'll pick up and try tomorrow. So that's that resilience as well. Also, if you can set realistic goals. So if you know there's someone in your life that always pushes your buttons, okay? If you know that yourself are a donkey and you realize there's a couple of other donkeys in my life that are quite staunch and rigid, if I can have a couple of different goals how to be in that situation next time that I see them, then trying to learn about growth mindset and having new conversations with yourself and others about trying to evolve and not fall back into those negative patterns, okay? Also, embracing challenges. If you're able to embrace challenges and things that are hard, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, which is very difficult, because a lot of the time when we do push ourselves or challenge ourselves out of our comfort zone, that's when that inner saboteur or the little bee will come along and will try and take you down a peg. It's understanding to have a conversation with that little person and saying, hey, I understand your concerns, but it's not valid here. I want to be able to give this a go. Everyone tries new things. New things are actually really healthy. And for good mental health, I need to be flexible and I need to be open. And this is what I'm practicing and this is what I'm doing now. Okay? This also flows hand in hand with obstacles. And a lot of obstacles that we face, we need to try and do it with a growth mindset. So understanding about different society expectations, about your own self-doubt, and sometimes even about your fear of failure. I even had a little inner saboteur this morning. I had an argument with my little boys. The middle guy, that middle guy, the little troublemaker. And the way that they react and respond to things that are really quite normal. They just don't want to do it. They dig their toes in the sand, argue with me the entire time. They're that donkey, And obviously in my mind, I want to go ham on them, go complete gangster and just put them in their place. Got to rein myself in. I've got to be more flexible. I've got to quiet that little in my head to be able to say, no, listen, they're doing it for a reason. From their little egocentric perspective, they're allowed to have their feelings and thoughts. It's the complete opposite of what I want them to do and what we need to do in the moment. And we're very time poor and I need to go to work. And this is a huge inconvenience for me. But being able to understand it from their perspective, having that growth mindset and to be able to be more flexible and more present and more grounded. Because it's very easy for our own children to trigger us, because the most frustrating thing about your child, it's like arguing with a miniature version of you, okay? Understanding if we can evolve, have that growth mindset, knowing that we need a new toolbox, overcoming obstacles and actually being proud of ourselves because we did the best that we could. And obviously, we are still learning how to be mothers ourselves, as well as everything else in our life. So another really good tip is if you know someone, whether it's real, imagined, a celebrity who has a growth mindset, if that's an inspiration for you, model yourself from them. That's a really, really good trick, because if you don't know what to do, and if you've never done anything before, but I know this is what I want to practice and learn to have a growth mindset, role model someone who inspires you, and you think in that moment, what would they do? How would they handle this situation? Okay? Even if you want to be able to read different books or quotes, positive affirmations when you're about to lose your biscuits at your kids or at work, or someone who's been a donkey towards you, what are your own positive affirmations that you can say or do to be able to get you back into that growth mindset so that you're not anxious, overwhelmed, angry, in fight mode, fight or flight? You actually come back to your body, grounded, growth mindset. Okay, it's not agree to disagree, but I can understand your perspective. This is my perspective. I can try and see it from yours. And how does that look like moving forward? Okay. So with all of this, a growth mindset is extremely important, and how it flows on to learn optimism. It then increases your self-worth and self-esteem. You can then back yourself, especially then when you don't know what to do and you're frantic and you keep looking for what's in the toolbox. Make your own toolbox so that you can be happy and confident within yourself and your own decisions to be able to move forward. Okay? Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it can give you something different to think about, especially your own goals. Who do you want to be? How do you want to respond? What does that look like for you? And if you've never had a positive role model or even known what growth mindset is, then maybe do some investigating. Have a conversation with ChatGPT, even talk to one of your friends about it. And if you realize that you're that donkey who's a bit stubborn, understand why. Look at yourself with curiosity and compassion, and understanding that you are a donkey for a reason. There is something that's happened in your life to make you protect yourself, or to back yourself, or my voice will always be heard. And so obviously with all of this, there's never any judgment. I used to be a hardcore donkey, okay? I know why, and I'm resolving it. So it's understanding as well with everyone else. We all have our pasts. No one's perfect. There is no such thing as perfect, because if there was, geez, how boring would that be? But understanding as well with that little inner saboteur in that always will pop up. It's okay, and that's normal. Just be able to understand, is it valid? Is it there? Is it someone else's words? Or where does it actually come from? Looking at things with curiosity and no judgment. Okay, I'm going to go. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous day. Bye. If you are hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, I want to thank you for your support. It takes me hours to research and create this for you, so I genuinely hope you enjoyed it and felt more mentally strong. If you have any suggestions or improvements, let me know, because I'm always open for criticisms. If you have found my information useful, please leave a review and subscribe. So by leaving a review, it's a value exchange. It's good karma. I value your support just as much as you value my free information. So find me on Instagram and Facebook by searching Mentally Strong Mums, and I'm Aussie, so it's spelled MUM. And then you can find heaps of resources on www.mentallystrongmums.com. And this podcast is for you. So let me know what topics you would like to see covered in future episodes. And if yourself is a professional that is working with mums and would like to be a guest to help other mums be mentally strong, I would love to support you. So message me on Instagram on Mentally Strong Mums, MUMS, all one word. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day, you beautiful mum.